November's coming in like a lion, and it's going to be a busy night. Now, the thing is, of course, tomorrow night's a really busy night, which means Friday not so much, and Saturday, big day too. There's 13 games tomorrow, so why am I doing this tonight? Because this right here. So let's jump into that one. Winnipeg's in Florida, and by in Florida, I mean they're in Finland. So Florida's technically the home team tomorrow for this one. And then on Friday, Winnipeg's the home team, which means, that's right, you guys can expect a late night preview tomorrow. But here's how I view this. This game's in Finland. So for fans in Europe, you are getting your preview in the morning, the same way North America does all the time. So there you go. That's my view on it. Let's get into the scoring. Scheifele, 6 goals, 6 assists. Connor, 6 goals, 5 assists. Wheeler, 2 goals, 9 assists. Bufflin with 2 goals and 5 assists. Morrissey with a goal and 6 assists. Trouba has a goal and 6 assists. Lowry with 4 goals and an assist. And Patrick Laine, 3 goals, 2 assists, is the center of attention. And everybody's talking about how, this might be the big push for him and he gets to go out there and perform at home. Here's my issue with that. Laine is in a contract year, and he is playing for a team and a fan base that believe in him. So if that didn't spur him on, yeah, that's my opinion. And I'm also of the mind that something's been up with Laine all year. I don't think he's been 100%. Dadonov leads Florida with 4 goals, 6 assists. Yandel, a goal and 8 assists. Trocheck, 3 goals, 5 assists. Huberdeau with 2 goals and 6 assists. Barkov has the same. Hoffman, 5 goals, 2 assists. Bukestad, 2 goals, 2 assists. Vetrano with 3 goals. Now, their records, everybody else's record at the top. When I started off, of course, this is the first game I did. I had all this written down. I'm like, I forgot the record. Winnipeg is 7-4-1. They're coming off back-to-back losses against the Toronto Maple Leafs, that was split up. They had a win in between, but they did lose 2 out of the last 3. Both were against Toronto. For Florida, 2-4-3. And this has been a nightmare start to the season for them. There's some maybe good news on the goaltending front. Let's look at the goalies. Brossoit, 1.67 goals against, 957 save percentage. Hellebuck, 3.00 goals against, 907 save percentage. I would expect both goalies to get a start during these 2 games in Finland. On the Florida side of things, Hutchinson, 4.17 goals against, 839 save percentage. Reimer, 3.41 goals against, 878 save percentage. In the middle there, you'll notice Luongo with his no goals against, 1,000 save percentage. He may play, but they won't say when. So there's no guarantee of when he's going to play, but they're saying, yes, there's a chance Luongo plays on November. We'll tell you later. So there is some secrecy. Now, here's the problem I have with it, okay? Reimer's 878, Hutchinson's 839. Do not rush Luongo back. And Luongo is a goaltender who, when he sees how bad the record has been and how shaky the goaltending's been, he will push himself to come back before he probably should. He did it in Vancouver, and I love his competitiveness. I love his spirit, but I really hope when he takes to the net, he's 100%. I really do. Goals for and against per game. Winnipeg has a 2.9 goals for, 2.7 goals against. Florida, 3.0 goals for and 3.7 goals against. So they are actually scoring more goals per game than Winnipeg, but they're allowing exactly 1 goal more per game than is the Winnipeg Jets. So there you go. Big game tomorrow for both teams, and then they have a big game on Friday. And that's why we're here at this time of night. Next up, Dallas is in Toronto. Dallas is 6-5. They're coming off their first road win of the season. Way to go, boys. And they're against the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are 8-4 and struggling to score at home. And this is a big test for Toronto. This is a team in Dallas that can play very well defensively. They've struggled on the road. We'll see if that win they got over Montreal last night translates into tomorrow night. Sagan leads the way in scoring for Dallas, 3 goals, 9 assists. Radulov, 5 goals, 6 assists. Same with Klingberg. Jamie Benn, 4 goals and 5 assists. Shore, 2 goals, 6 assists. Spezza, 2 goals, 6 assists. 2 goals, 6 assists. Essa Lindell, a goal and 5 assists. Lindell is one of those best of times, worst of times guys in that he can be fantastic offensively. And then in that same game, he'll make a defensive move that has you just screaming at the TV. Heiskanen, 2 goals, 2 assists. He's on the board now. On the Toronto side of things, of course, Matthews is still the leading scorer, 10 goals and 6 assists. showing just how amazing a start the guy had. Mitch Marner, 4 goals, 12 assists, 1 point for Marner. He's the number one guy. Riley, 4 goals, 11 assists. Tavares, 7 goals and 6 assists. Kapanen, 6 goals and 4 assists. Kadri, 3 goals and 4 assists. Gardner, a goal and 6 assists. And Hyman with 6 assists. And if you paid attention to Toronto media today, you'll notice they were talking a lot about Tavares and Kadri and how they have different approaches to things and different visions of how Toronto's going to get through losing Matthews. I have a simple answer to that. Tavares is a mostly offensive guy who's not known for his defense. And Kadri's a great two-way forward who is also a matchup center and pretty darn solid defensively. So I can totally understand why they have different approaches to it. In net, Hudobin, 3.02 goals against, 898 save percentage. Bishop, 2.26 goals against, 924 save percentage. Bishop was much better in Montreal. Probably the best game he played all year. We'll see if he can keep that up. Toronto side of things, Sparks, 3.49 goals against, 892 save percentage. He's overdue for a start, isn't he? He's got to get one in here somewhere. And Anderson, 2.53 goals against, 918 save percentage for him. Goals for, goals against, tells the story. Dallas is scoring 3.1 per game. They're allowing 2.7. Toronto is scoring 3.5 per game. They're allowing 3.1. So Toronto has the stronger attack and the weaker defense. And Dallas, they're very top heavy when it comes to their goal scoring, and we'll see if there's more depth guys that can get things going. There's been signs over the last week or so that things are starting to develop in the right direction for Dallas with their depth scoring. We'll see if that can continue or not against a Toronto Maple Leafs team that should come out with some anger tomorrow night. Toronto should come out very angry about the way things turned out in their last game and ready to go out and go for blood in this one. I really think Toronto, I still have them picked as a team that I think wins the President's Trophy this year, but it's going to be a challenge now with Matthews out, and if they can't get that road record or that home record really going, and a road record of 5-0, that's not maintainable. They're not going to go 41-0 on the road. I apologize to Toronto fans if they believe that, and I wholeheartedly endorse believing in your team, but they need to get that home record into better shape than what it is right now. Next up, Buffalo, 6-4-2, and Buffalo is off to an excellent start. I know it's tough for Buffalo fans to have seen the loss to Calgary the way that it occurred, but Calgary's been playing pretty well lately too. So, these games happen and it's a learning experience. And now they're in against the Ottawa Senators, who are 4-5-2. This is again a test for Buffalo. This is a game that when you look on paper, you look at the numbers, they should be able to win this one. So it's a big test. Win the games that you should, right? Skinner, 6 goals and 6 assists for him. He still leads scoring. Eichel now has 4 goals and 8 assists to tie him at the 12 points mark. Pominville, 5 goals, 5 assists. Okposo, 3 goals, 4 assists. McCabe, a goal and 6 assists. Reinhart with a goal and 5 assists. And ideally, Sam Reinhart would have more than 1 goal through the first 12 games of the season. Sherry with 3 goals and 2 assists. And Dahlin with a goal and 3 assists. And I believe Sherry's 2 goals were in the second game of the season. So Sherry's numbers, a little bit deceiving to see him with the 3 goals. But again, doesn't matter when you get them, you still got them, right? On the Ottawa side of things, the goal scoring issue is a real issue now. Although, some spread out scoring, but I think in terms of having that one go-to guy. Chabot, 3 goals, 10 assists, leads their scorers. Duchesne, 4 goals and 7 assists. And let's give credit where it's due. Duchesne with 11 points in 11 games has had a very good season so far. Tierney, 2 goals, 9 assists. Stone, 4 goals, 4 assists. Dezingle, 4 goals, 3 assists. Lejoie, 4 goals and 3 assists. Ryan with 2 goals and 4 assists. And Bodker with 2 goals and 4 assists. Goaltending, Ullmark, 2.00 goals against, 935 save percentage for Buffalo. And Hutton, 2.94 goals against, 910 save percentage. So Hutton's numbers have been coming up again. On the Ottawa side of things, of course, right now, as things stand, Condon's on waivers, 6.38 goals against, 800 save percentage. We'll know tomorrow morning what happens with him. I can't see him not clearing. I really can't. Anderson, 3.47 goals against, 909 save percentage for him. And he's got to be wondering if he's going to have to do it by himself all year. And I mean that. That's how it looks right now. They can call up McKenna, but as a Dallas fan that watched McKenna play a bit last year and seeing him in the American League, I don't think McKenna's an NHL level goaltender. Not on a regular basis. Maybe on an emergency basis, and that's kind of what this is, but they need a regular backup. And this is where Philadelphia Flyers or Carolina Hurricanes may end up getting a call. Anyways, goals for and against per team. Buffalo scoring 2.6 per game. They'd like to increase that. Their goals against 2.9. Pretty good. Pretty good considering it's Buffalo and all. And Buffalo is kind of renowned for not having great defense and goaltending. So seeing that means that's at least gotten better. Not only their record, but their defense. Goals for Ottawa, they're at 3.3 per game, and they're allowing 4 per game. They really miss Brady Tkachuk. Once Tkachuk comes back, I think Ottawa could get better immediately. But I think it's going to be a tough haul until they get Tkachuk back. And then it's a matter of how far behind the 8 ball do they get before Tkachuk comes back. So what are we going to be looking at that stage of the game? It'll be an interesting game. I would not be surprised if I end up watching a lot of this one. The Buffalo games can be a lot of fun to watch. I highly recommend them. Next up, Columbus in San Jose. Columbus is 6-5, and they're really hard to figure out. They could go into San Jose tomorrow and just kill them 5-0, or they could lose 8-1. It's that kind of season they're having. San Jose 6-3-3. A shutout is highly unlikely considering the goaltending numbers for Columbus, but I'm just using that as an example. 6-3-3 for San Jose, and they're much the same. They're very hard to predict right now. They had a layup in that last game. They should have been able to win that, and they flubbed it. So when you're flubbing wins at home against a team like the Rangers, and you get swept by the Rangers, these are points you're going to want back later in the season. Now, as of right now, the Vancouver Canucks are first in the division because it's Bizarro World. And also because San Jose has had its stops and starts. San Jose should really be in a much better shape than what they are right now. Scoring. Panarin, 5 goals and 10 assists to lead the Columbus Blue Jackets with 15 points. Atkinson, 6 goals and 5 assists. Dubois, 4 goals, 4 assists. Werenski, 2 goals, 6 assists. Foligno, 3 goals, 4 assists. Anderson with 6 goals and an assist. Duclair, 4 goals, 2 assists. And Nudavara with a goal and 5 assists. And Nudavara has been solid offensively for Columbus. He's an interesting specimen on the blue line, and we'll see just how much talent he has as the season rolls along. If Columbus makes the playoffs, it'll be interesting to see what his point is. If he maintains this kind of a point pace, does he end up being one of their better defenders? Does he end up being a 5'6" guy? And that's something I've wondered with Nudavara for a while now. On the San Jose side of things, Brent Burns leads the way with 3 goals, 12 assists. Timo Meier, 9 goals, 5 assists. Amazing goal in their last game. All for naught, of course. Couture, 6 goals and 8 assists. Hurdle, 5 goals and 8 assists. Huge goal to tie that game that they eventually lost in a shootout. Kane, 4 goals and 6 assists. Donskoy, 3 goals, 5 assists. LeBanc, a goal and 6 assists. And there's Erik Karlsson with 7 assists in 12 games. And it's not a lie to say they kind of expected more. We've talked a lot about how the guy whose name's right underneath Karlsson is not playing towards getting himself a great contract. Does this affect the money Karlsson's going to get? Let's get to the other guy. Bobrovsky, 3.58 goals against, 882 save percentage. And you have to wonder, is Kakalainen looking at him and saying, maybe I should just move him? And not because of contract. Not because of contract at all. Forget the contract. Maybe he's just looking at it and saying, you know what, maybe we need a new start in that. Maybe we need a new guy. Maybe Bobrovsky's market value is at least high enough that we can still get back a really good return on him. Korpisalo, 3.99 goals against, 881 save percentage for him. On the San Jose side of things, Aaron Dell, 2.59 goals against, 921 save percentage. And there's Jones, 2.66 goals against, and a 902 save percentage. Thank you, Martin Jones, for improving your save percentage to above 900 and getting to 902. Goals for, 3.5 per game for Columbus. Goals against, 3.9. That is far too high. It comes down to the goaltending, and it comes down to some sloppy play by Columbus. On the San Jose side of things, they're scoring 3.4 per game, and they're only allowing 2.8. They've actually controlled the games pretty well, and yet their record is only 6-3-3, which translates to 6 wins, 3 losses, 3 overtime or shootout losses. Do you qualify them as losses? Because if you do, it's 6-6. San Jose needs to get on a bit of a roll. They have a Columbus team coming in with all the shaky numbers and kind of a wonky record. It's a plus 500 record, and yet it doesn't feel like a very strong start for Columbus. Next up, Vegas, 5-6-1. They're in against St. Louis, 3-4-3. This could be a desperate game. This could end up being a game that sees some fights. Ryan Reeves may end up getting called into action quickly here. Because these teams, there's some familiarity. Reeves knows St. Louis, right? Perron, he knows Vegas. And both teams are struggling. Both were expected to be better this year. Both are turning in below average numbers well, for Vegas, it's below average offense. For St. Louis, it's below average defense. Something has to give, right? The resistible force and the very movable object is what we're looking at in this game. Marchessault leads the way in scoring for Vegas with 6 goals and 6 assists. Carlson, 3 goals and 6 assists for him. Smith, 3 goals and 3 assists, and they need more out of Riley Smith. They do. Eakin, 3 goals and an assist. Howla with a goal and 3 assists. Reeves with 3 goals. Tuck with 2 goals and an assist. Shea Theodore with a goal and 2 assists for Vegas. On the St. Louis side of things, O'Reilly, 3 goals and 11 assists. And I've seen people say, you know what? O'Reilly, everywhere he goes, teams lose. So I'm sure for O'Reilly that's as frustrating, and I'm sure he's aware of it, as it is for anybody else in terms of awareness and frustration with that fact. Perron, 5 goals, 5 assists. Tarasenko, 5 goals, 4 assists. Braden Shen, 3 goals and 6 assists. Steen with 3 goals, 4 assists. Dunn with 3 goals and 3 assists. Sanford, 3 goals and 3 assists. That's one of those fast starts that you don't expect. And Maroon with 6 assists. Maroon probably expected to be on the score sheet a little more than he has been. And if you're a St. Louis fan right now, there's a lot of that going around. Tarasenko looks like he might be shaking it off some of his disappointing goal scoring over the last year plus. Tomorrow night's a good chance to prove that he's getting there. Goaltending, Subban, who started their last game, 2.83 goals against, 881 save percentage. I don't put that last loss on him. Fleury, 2.49 goals against, 897 save percentage. And for St. Louis, Johnson, 3.28 goals against and an 872 save percentage. Allen, 3.99 goals against, 874 save percentage. There's a lot of iffy numbers in there, honestly. Goals for Vegas, 2.2. That's not good. Goals against, 2.8. That's actually pretty good. So their defensive numbers are all right. Because when you look at St. Louis, they're scoring 3.6 goals per game and they're allowing 3.9. So St. Louis games, very high scoring and very frustrating if you're a St. Louis fan. They've only won 3 out of 10, or they're 1 game below 500 because welcome to the NHL run by Canadians where they decide everybody gets a point. And yet, Canada doesn't win Stanley Cups. So, because again, being Canadians, we'd like everybody to have a shot at it. We don't want to be greedy. Just be greedy once, Canada, but depends on the team. Anyways, I don't want to go near that one. Just forget I said it. I'm just kidding. Anyways, so St. Louis and Vegas, this is going to be interesting because these are two have-nots. And again, this game could get very frustrating very early, and you could see some fisticuffs come out of that one. Next up, Pittsburgh. This is a very interesting matchup. You have Pittsburgh now in against Montreal or in against the Islanders. The Islanders are the team that beat them in Pittsburgh last night. Now tomorrow night it's Pittsburgh in New York against the Islanders. Pittsburgh 6-2-2 and the Islanders 6-4-1. If the Islanders can pull off back-to-back wins over Pittsburgh, it's officially a pretty hot start for the Islanders. And I don't know if Barry Trotz is going to have to wear a bull mask or what they're going to do if they get a sweep over Pittsburgh. But he should do something nice for the boys if they win a back-to-back series against Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh is pretty deadly. Scoring, Malkin, 6 goals, 13 assists. Thanks for coming out. 19 points in 10 games. It's not bad. Not bad. Kessel, 7 goals and 8 assists. Crosby, 6 goals and 8 assists. Letang, 4 goals and 7 assists. Gensel with 5 goals and 2 assists. Alexiak, 3 goals and 4 assists. It's odd to see Alexiak on there. Maybe that just broke me when I saw that name up there. Simone, 2 goals, 5 assists. And Hornqvist with 4 goals and 2 assists. On the Islanders side of things, the passers have it. Bailey with 2 goals and 10 assists. Barzal with 1 goal and 11 assists. Lee with 4 goals and 7 assists. Nelson with 6 goals and an assist. Filppula, 4 goals, 3 assists. Ladd with 3 goals, 3 assists. Eberle finally on the board. 3 goals and 3 assists for him. 6 points in 11 games. You want more out of him than that. Cizikas, 3 goals and 3 assists. So the scoring is spread out for the Islanders, and it's going to be an interesting game tomorrow night to see how this turns out. Can the Islanders do it twice in a row? Murray, 3.76 goals against, 893 save percentage, which is a shame because his numbers have started getting better. DeSmith, 2.23 goals against, 932 save percentage. On the Islanders side of things, Greiss, 2.27 goals against, 933 save percentage. Leonard, 2.45 goals against, 928 save percentage. It is nice to see goaltenders as maligned as Greiss and Leonard playing well, and this is where I give kudos to Barry Trotz and to the staff put together by Lou Lamoriello. So there you go. That's the difference that having a really good staff for a team can make. I don't think that just changing a head coach necessarily makes a big difference. I've talked about head coaches now firing a head coach. I don't think necessarily makes a big difference. But during the offseason, if you can make a big change and change around your staff and change all the strategies and then make the right changes to the roster, which I think's happened with the Islanders, yeah, it can make a big difference. Pittsburgh, 4.3 goals per game. They're allowing 3.1. The Islanders are scoring 3.3 goals per game. They're allowing 2.5. That's minuscule. And as long as that defense holds up, yeah, the Islanders are going to be in the hunt. I don't know if they end up in the playoffs. I'm not going to make any crazy predictions, but they are at the very least in the hunt, and they look pretty good right now. So that's really all you can ask for. Next up, Washington, 5-3-2. They're in against the Montreal Canadiens, 6-3-2, and let's get her going. I can't wait for this. This is going to be fantastic. Kuznetsov leads the way for Washington, 5 goals, 10 assists. Ovechkin, 8 goals and 6 assists. Carlson, 5 goals, 9 assists. Backstrom, 2 goals and 11 assists for him. Oshie, 6 goals and 4 assists. Connolly has a goal and 6 assists. Verona with 3 goals, 2 assists. And Niskanen with 2 goals and 3 assists to round out the scoring for Washington. On the Montreal side of things, Max Domi, 5 goals and 6 assists. And the love fest that the Montreal fandom has had with Max Domi, great. It's fantastic. And I hope he enjoys it while it lasts. Because for whatever reason, Montreal fans, and I could do a video on this, it'll ebb and flow. It ebbs and it flows. Some players can maintain that love from the fans, but I think back through all the years I've watched hockey, and it's a rough city to play in. I completely applaud Max for at this point. He's played really well through it. Tatar, 3 goals, 6 assists. Petrie, a goal and 8 assists. Gallagher has 7 goals and 1 assist. Drouin, 3 goals and 5 assists. Paul Byron, 4 goals, 3 assists. Lankinen with a goal and 6 assists. And Danault with a goal and 4 assists for the Montreal Canadiens. Goaltending, well, Holtby is at a 3.41 goals against, 888 save percentage. I'm not allowed to say he's off to a slow start because people will say that's the defense, but it to me looks kind of like a slow start. Copley, 3.55 goals against, 882 save percentage for him. On the Montreal side of things, Niemi, 3.26 goals against, 898 save percentage. Carey Price, 2.24 goals against, 915 save percentage. Pretty solid numbers across the board for the Montreal goaltenders. Niemi, about 900 is what you can expect. And for Price, 915 is about right. Goals for and against. Goals for per game for Washington, 3.8. They're allowing 3.6. They would want to bring that down. Montreal scoring 3 goals per game, and they're allowing 2.6, which is right about where you want to be. It is the lowest number on the board other than the Islanders, 2.5. And let me just check the other board here. Nashville has a 2.4. Colorado has a 2.2. And yeah, that's it. Those are the lowest numbers. So Montreal's right up there. And as long as their goaltending holds up their end of the bargain, Montreal has every chance. This is a big test for Washington as well. I pointed out tonight, or this morning I should say, that Washington had a slow start last year. They weren't in the playoffs at this point last year. They would not be in the playoffs if they started today this year either. And then they managed to make the playoffs and win their division. So, it's games like this where they can get things going and start to turn things around. Tomorrow's the start of November. So we're talking about a whole new month, and all the October numbers kind of go out the window. And we'll see if that helps Washington or not. And I know it's just numbers, and people are going to say that's crazy. Month to month, it's just don't worry about it. Makes a big difference. It really does. All right, now I got to change boards. Okay. Let me double check here and make sure that this board centers just as well. Yep, that's fine. That's fine. All right. Colorado, 7-3-2. They're in against the suddenly hot Calgary Flames at 7-5-1. Can the Flames maintain it? We'll see. Rantanen leads the scoring for Colorado. 5 goals, 16 assists. McKinnon, 9 goals and 9 assists. Landeskog, 10 goals, 6 assists. That's a lot of points. It's 55 points between 3 players. If Calgary's going to win this game, the Flames are going to have to slow that centers or that line down. Barry, 9 assists. Soderberg, 4 goals, 3 assists. Kerfoot, a goal and 5 assists. Johnson with 6 assists. And JT Compher still on the board. I know he's injured, but he's still on the board, 3 goals and an assist. So Colorado leans heavily on that first line. Is it the best line in hockey? I think it's up there. There's so many super lines right now in hockey. There are so many. It's insane how many really fantastic lines there are right now. On the Calgary side, their top line isn't bad either. Goudreau, 6 goals, 10 assists. Tkachuk, 5 goals, 9 assists. Monahan, 5 goals, 9 assists. And there's that Lindholm guy who's played pretty well. 8 goals and 5 assists. Giordano, who's off to an amazing start offensively, a goal and 10 assists. Backlund, a goal and 5 assists. Frolik with 5 goals. And Brody with 4 assists. Goaltending. This is an interesting one. Varlamov, 1.62 goals against, 950 save percentage for him. He's off to an amazing start. Grubauer, 2.76 goals against, 916 save percentage. And after a slow start, he's done pretty well for himself. On the Calgary side of things, Riddick, 2.08 goals against, 939 save percentage. Smith, 3.55 goals against, 878 save percentage. But if I can say it, I'll say it. Mike Smith has been better than his numbers. And he's had some awful games. The last couple of games, though, he's been pretty good. So his numbers are coming up. I would not be surprised to see him the starter for tomorrow. I haven't checked starters because usually teams won't necessarily give out their starters a day in advance. It's usually at the game game day practice. You can tell who's in the starters crease, and then they report it from there. Smith hasn't been horrible, but I will say Riddick, his numbers are definitely better, and it would be warranted if the Flames said, you know what, we're going to go with Riddick in a lot more games than Smith going forward. No controversy of that nature in Colorado at this stage. Goals for and against. Colorado scoring 3.4 per game. They're allowing 2.2. That's kind of amazing. Calgary, they're scoring 3.2 per game, and they're allowing 3.2 per game. So it's a tighter schedule here for Calgary. They've been closer to even than Colorado, who've looked pretty darn solid. It's a road game, but Colorado's been good on the road so far this year, and it's another road test for them. And it's a shot for Calgary to show that they're still in this, and that the last couple of games haven't been some sort of a fluke. This is a big challenge for them. One of the better teams in the West coming in, at least right now, one of the better teams in the West. And I would not be surprised to see Calgary get this win. The Pacific has a number of teams that have, close to even, close to 500 records, but it's better than people give it credit for. It is actually better than people give it credit for. Next up, Rangers are in against Anaheim. Anaheim doesn't make my case about the Pacific Division, so don't look at Anaheim. Anaheim's been kind of sad so far this year. They were doing well, and then it stopped. They've lost 6 in a row, 5 of them in regulation. You don't want to do that if you want to stay in the playoffs. And right now, Anaheim doesn't look like a playoff team. They are not playing well, and I don't know any other way to say it. On the Rangers side of things, Zibanejad, 5 goals, 5 assists. Zuccarello, 3 goals, 7 assists. If Zuccarello's on his way to town, he's not playing like it. He's playing well, and he looks like he's enjoying himself in New York. Kreider, 6 goals and 3 assists. Seemed really fired up the other night. I watched him in the game the other night. Seemed really fired up. I know there's fans who don't like Kreider, and I get why, but when he's fired up and he's competitive, he is really hard to knock off the puck, and he has a lot of good fortune around the net. We'll put it that way. Howden, 2 goals and 4 assists, and he's looked fantastic. Buchnevich, 3 goals, 2 assists. Pionk with 6 assists. Shea, a goal and 4 assists. And if Shea picks it up, the Rangers could absolutely get themselves back to 500 and start making some hay. But it's a rebuilding year. The odds are against him. Fast, a goal and 4 assists for him, rounding out the scoring for the Rangers. On Anaheim's side, Raquel, Getzlaf, and Lindholm all have 2 goals and 6 assists, as if there's a combination or some kind of something that they're saying we have to get these totals to whatever. I'm looking for like some kind of a Stargate kind of segue there, but since Halloween is now in the past in videos, I don't have anything clever to throw in there. So anyways, yeah, they all have 2 goals and 6 assists. Silverberg, 3 goals and 4 assists. Comtois, 2 goals and 5 assists. Adam Henrique, 3 goals, 3 assists. Ben Street, he who is on waivers, and by the time the game takes place tomorrow night, he may belong to somebody else, or he may be in the American League. 3 goals and 2 assists for him. Fowler, 5 assists. And Aberg. Yeah, Pontus Aberg. 4 goals. He's the leading scorer out of all the goal scorers in Anaheim. All of them. 4. That's sad. And it's not anything against Aberg. It's against the fact that he's the leading goal scorer on the team. Goaltenders. Lundqvist, 2.77 goals against, 917 save percentage. Nobody's telling him they're going for Jack Hughes. Georgiev, 4.56 goals against, 883 save percentage. On the Anaheim side of things, the goaltenders that are under siege all the time. Miller, 2.44 goals against, 932 save percentage. Gibson, 2.44 goals against average, and a 938 save percentage. Gibson's been fantastic. The team in front of him has not. Miller was fantastic the other night as well. The team in front of him was not. And it is really hard for a goaltender when that's going on. Goals for and against, we'll show this too. Goals for the Rangers, 2.5. Goals against, 3.4. Anaheim, goals for, 2.4. Goals against, 2.8. So you look at the offense for both teams, this could be a 1-0 game in overtime. This could be a nail-biter, and it may not be an exciting nail-biter because neither team gets enough shots. So this may be one of those games that has you yelling at the TV to shoot the puck, which if you're an Anaheim fan, you've been doing that a lot this year. So, you'll be doing it again tomorrow. Chicago goes into Edmonton tomorrow night. So for Chicago, they're now 6-4-3. Edmonton 6-4-1. Chicago can't afford to lose tomorrow night. They're going into Calgary on Saturday. They can't afford to come out of this Western Canadian swing with a losing record because it's the Central. They're in the Central, and the Central is crazy good right now. So they really can't afford to lose this one. Kane didn't play tonight, apparently with illness. I would expect he'll play tomorrow. When a guy is missing a game with illness, you kind of expect him to be out there the next game. 11 goals, 7 assists for him. DeBrincat, 6 goals, 8 assists. Taves, 7 goals and 5 assists. Anisimov, 2 goals, 6 assists. Seabrook, 2 goals, 5 assists. Schmaltz, a goal and 6 assists. Same as Cahoon. And Keith, 7 assists. Something tells me DeBrincat's got 8 goals and 6 assists, and I did that backwards. Because I wanted to say 8 goals and 6 assists, and I didn't. And it's because when you keep repeating these numbers that these guys have every single day, you look and you go, nah, that's backwards. Because you keep saying their numbers over and over again. Edmonton's side of things, McDavid, 9 goals, 9 assists for 18 points in 11 games. And we're not talking about it very much. That's crazy. Guys get 18 points in 11 games. And we're talking about other things. Because we kind of expect it with McDavid now. It's kind of just standard. And it's Crosby when he was a youngin'. And it reminds me of sort of like with Lemieux, Gretzky, and other greats of the game. They'll put up tremendous points, and per game we'll talk about it, but the overalls were like, yeah, so they're number one. Yeah, we're kind of expecting that. Draisaitl, 7 goals, 6 assists. Nugent Hopkins, 3 goals and 10 assists for him. And then it drops like off the map. Nurse, a goal and 4 assists. Clefbaum and Reeder both have 5 assists. Chason with 4 goals. Lucic with a goal and 3 assists. They really want more out of Lucic. They really, really do. And I know there's people saying, well, Lucic does more than score goals. I get it. But for the amount of cap space he takes up, 1 goal, probably not what they're looking for. Goaltenders, Crawford, 2.72 goals against, 909 save percentage now. Cam Ward, 3.91 goals against, 889 save percentage. Based on tonight's result, I would be surprised if Ward doesn't start tomorrow. On the Edmonton side, Talbot, 2.81 goals against, 904 save percentage. He's destined to play every game, so I expect him out there tomorrow. Koskinen, who I think got in there by accident, 3.05 goals against, 889 save percentage in his one start. I think he just took the starter's crease, and McClellan just wasn't paying attention. Went, all right, we'll give him the one game. I think Talbot plays the other 81. Goals for and against, Chicago, 3.3 goals for per game. They're allowing 3.6. Edmonton 2.9 goals per game, and they're allowing 3.1. So this game could be high scoring. A lot of chances at both ends of the ice. Some very exciting top end scorers. But once you get into the depth, there's some more struggles there, and there's some players that are really, really hoping to get some goals. That pause was brought to you by a dry throat, telling me you better drink something or your voice is going to be gone before you reach the next game. So I added down a little bit of a beverage. Philly is in against the Kings. Philly 5-7, LA 3-7-1. It is the battle of the miserable. It really is. Both fan bases not happy with the starts, and not happy is kind of an understatement. Now, of course, the news has come out that Jonathan Quick probably done for the year, maybe done for the year. And I didn't do a video on it today. I'll probably do a video on it tomorrow. And I honestly at this point feel like I'm piling on. I feel like I'm piling on the Kings, and I feel bad for them. I really do. And now Philly gets to come in and see if they can pile on and continue to try to get back to 500 and maybe get a run going. Giroux, 3 goals, 10 assists for him to lead the way in scoring. Voracek, 3 goals, 9 assists. Simmons with 6 goals and 1 assist. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, Simmons had a hat trick in LA last year at the start of the year. I remember Simmons did very well in the road trip in California last year, and I'm thinking he had a hat trick in LA. I may be misremembering. Haig, 2 goals, 4 assists. Lawton with 4 goals and an assist. Konechny, 2 goals, 3 assists. Goes to Spear, 1 goal, 4 assists for him. So he's finally technically ahead of Gudas, and Gudas is tied with Sanheim, but it put Sanheim on the board today with 5 assists. On the LA side of things, hey look, Iafallo isn't the leading scorer anymore. Kovalchuk is 3 goals, 5 assists for him, and he looked really solid the last game, thanks to playing with a guy who's not on the board, Dustin Brown. Is Brown the magic elixir that the Kings needed? We may find out as soon as tomorrow. Doughty, a goal and 7 assists. Iafallo, 2 goals, 5 assists. Toffoli, 3 goals and 3 assists. Carter, 2 goals, 3 assists. Kopitar still with 3 goals and an assist. Martinez, 1 goal, 2 assists. Muzzin with 3 assists for LA. And again, if Brown is what they needed, then awesome, great. He looked like it in the first game. We'll see if it carries over into the next one. On the goaltending side of things, Neuwirth, a 6.00 goals against, 727 save percentage. Pickard, 4.73 goals against, 833 save percentage. Elliott, 3.23 goals against, 889 save percentage. If they waive Pickard, I think he's going to Ottawa. I do. Campbell, 2.72 goals against and a 912 save percentage for LA. Quick, 4.55 goals against, 845 save percentage. And Budaj, 2.00 goals against, 909 save percentage. Budaj came up because Quick's out. And again, we'll see if it's all year. Until it's officially, the end of the season, I never rule it out because Quick does bring himself back before he's supposed to. He does work his ass off to come back from injury. But again, Quick is injured for an extended period of time. LA really needs to... I think LA is on the verge of needing to do a full-on rebuild. I think if Quick's out for the year, I think they're there. I think we're going to look at some guys getting sold off. There's going to be some tough decisions to be made. Goals for and against. Philly is scoring 2.8 per game. They're allowing 4.0 per game. LA's scoring 2 per game. 2. Yeah. Remember when Arizona was scoring at an anemic level? And we were all kind of looking at going, wow, how does that happen? Now it's LA. Goals against per game, 3.5. And those numbers don't win. I feel like I just speak the obvious with some of these, but it has to be spoken. And for LA, their numbers just don't work. So we'll see if they start to work tomorrow or not. Next up, New Jersey, Detroit. New Jersey's 5-3-1, Detroit's 3-7-2. These teams are not as far apart as it looks. New Jersey was 4-0 to start the season. They've been 1-3-1 since. They've struggled. Detroit has won their last 2 games, and they've looked pretty good winning them. Now it's a matter of, getting some momentum going And they've got a New Jersey Devils team coming in off getting shellacked by the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, unless the New Jersey Devil fan booster, who was behind the Devils bench yelling, "Let's go," when they were down 8-3, unless that guy's behind the bench again, I can't see this game being as entertaining. I think they should bring that guy with them on the road everywhere. I think for his fervent yelling for the team, I'm barely kidding. If he can afford it and if they can afford it, I say do it, because fans that are that fervent, I wish I could do that. I've always envied the guys that can just blindly cheer and just their team is fantastic and they're winners and they're champions, and in their eyes they're gonna win everything. I admire that. That when I was a teenager I might have thought that way with teams. Now I'm so old and cynical, and I've seen so many seasons come and go. I wish I could have that kind of energy. I really do. On the New Jersey side of things for scoring, Paul Mary still having an excellent start to the season. 9 goals, 5 assists. Taylor Hall is playing amazing. Nobody's talking about that either. 2 goals, 10 assists. Heischer, 3 goals, 5 assists. Severson, 2 goals, 5 assists. Zajac, 3 goals and 3 assists. Wood, 1 goal, 4 assists. And Vatanen and Mueller both have 5 assists for the New Jersey Devils. So they're getting points from their blue line and from their top guys. So again, teams look really top heavy. I need to do a number on this and see if teams are actually getting more scoring from their top guys this year than usual out of their total goal totals, because it seems like there's some guys off to just amazing starts. And that'll probably even out during the year, but it just seems really odd. On the Detroit side of things, Larkin, 6 goals, 6 assists. He's had an excellent start to the season. Nyquist, 1 goal and 8 assists. Bertuzzi, 4 goals, 3 assists. Cholowski. And if you want to look at the winning streak, if you can call 2 a streak, and if you want to look at Detroit playing better than they were expected to, look no further than this Cholowski kid on the blue line. Athanasiou, 4 goals, 2 assists. Nielsen, 6 assists. Mantha, 3 goals and 2 assists. And Vanek, who's going to be out for a while, 2 goals and 3 assists to get on the board. In net, Schneider, 4.01 goals against, 833 save percentage. Kincaid, 2.74 goals against, 910 save percentage. I don't know if it's playing too much that's caused his numbers to come down, but whatever it is, I think Schneider now has a chance to take his net back. I think if Schneider plays well, I assume he's playing tomorrow. I'll be shocked if he doesn't. If Schneider plays well in his return, I would think he'll get a few starts here. I think they'll give Kincaid a bit of a rest. Bernier, 4.21 goals against, 861 save percentage. And Howard, 3.06 goals against, 914 save percentage. Jimmy Howard's played well. You throw all the stones you want. Jimmy Howard's played well this year. Goals for and against. New Jersey, 3.4 goals for, 3.1 goals against. The goals against is starting to get up there. And that Tampa game will do that. But it is getting up there after having a fantastic start. Detroit, 2.5 goals per game, and they're allowing 3.8. That's not good enough. But they've won 2 in a row, and we'll see if they can make it 3. And it's going to be, I think, honestly, quite the game. And I know I say that a lot, but when you look at this on paper, you go, oh, that's just going to be a crappy game. New Jersey's going to win that. But when you get into it and you look at the fact that, the Devils have only won 1 since that 4-game winning streak, and Detroit's won a couple in a row, maybe it's not going to be that lopsided. Maybe it's going to be a little harder than you might think. Next up, and finally, thank the Lord, right? A lot of people going, man, how long can this go? A while. Nashville, 9-3. They're in against Tampa, who are 8-2-1. Nashville's leading scorers, Forsberg, 10 goals and 4 assists. He's been a machine as a goal scorer. Johansson, 2 goals, 11 assists. Arvidsson, 8 goals and 4 assists. And Arvidsson's been kind of fantastic as well. Subban, 2 goals and 8 assists. Turris, 2 goals, 7 assists. Ekholm, 2 goals and 6 assists. Craig Smith, 4 goals and 2 assists. Hartman, 3 goals and 3 assists. Tampa Bay. Hey, look, Braden Point got 5 points last game, and suddenly they have a scorer. 7 goals and 7 assists for 14 points in 11 games for him. Kucherov, 5 goals, 7 assists. Gourde, 4 goals, 8 assists. Miller, 3 goals and 7 assists. Johnson, 5 goals and 4 assists. There's Stamkos. Suddenly Stamkos has 2 goals and 6 assists. He started to get it together. McDonough, 1 goals and 6 assists. And there's 1 goal and 6 assists. You don't need to pluralize it, Shannon, when it's 1. And Palat with no goals and 5 assists. Goaltending. UC Saros, 2.50 goals against, 917 save percentage. Pekka Rinne was activated today off injured reserve which means he'll start tomorrow. 2.10 goals against, 929 save percentage. He could back up, but I think they'll start him. On the Tampa Bay side of things, Louis Domingue, 4.00 goals against, 887 save percentage. Vasilevsky, 1.98 goals against average, and a 935 save percentage. Pretty darn solid numbers. Goals for and against. Nashville, 3.5 goals for, 2.4 goals against, and Tampa, 3.6 goals for, 2.7 goals against, meaning the Tampa Bay Lightning, Nashville Predators, both have excellent goal differentials. They both have some excellent scorers. They're both off to really solid starts. There's going to be a lot of people watching this game tomorrow night. So there you go. Let me know which game you're going to be watching tomorrow. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. If you're browsing your way through, you just happen upon this video, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.